I think that practically speaking, most advisors aren't going to be able to actually implement AI in a meaningful way because they don't own their firm and they don't own their data, right? So if you're an advisor at a big firm, there's probably, like any other new technology, going to be a bit of a waiting period where your compliance and the, the apparatus that has to approve those things has to work. So I think that's one. I think two, one of the presenters was talking about all these use cases for AI. And I didn't disagree with her presentation, but we've been using it now for about 7 months, testing it with our advisors, getting feedback. And one of the things that I recognized is that 30% of the advisors were using it on a regular basis, 70% were not. And what came back to me is the value of AI for us as advisors, or then for us as firm owners, really is in the automation of something. So I don't even have to give it a prompt. Like if I have to go into ChatGPT and like remember, here's all the prompts I have to give something to get my feedback, I think a lot of my experience watching advisors so far, which again is not empirical, it's just anecdotal, is that is just enough of a, kind of a gap that it slows down usage. So if we can think about where can we actually use AI to automate something so I don't even have to think about it, that would be the space that I would focus in on the utilization of it. If a practical tip that I gave is if you're at a big firm, or if you're not, or even if you own an RIA, but you're not like, you want to kind of let this develop a while yet, you don't want to be the first movers into it, which I think is fine to see how the SEC rules on it and some of these things. I just said, I've been using Grammarly, I don't know, 7 years. And Grammarly has their own, AI built into their subscription now. So I said, if you're an advisor who writes a lot, download the Grammarly extension in Chrome and for Office, and write something, and don't worry about it being perfect, because you can just highlight it and you can click a button that's like improve it, shorten it, personalize it, right? And I said, start using AI to make your copy and your communications more effective. Like that saves a ton of time, right? Part of what I've been doing recently, learning from you with my posts on social media, is I just started just writing something pretty raw, and then I'm using, essentially our AI, but I'm just using a ChatGPT, system to help me clean up my writing.
Yeah, that's what about coming up with ideas? Are you using it to spark ideas?
No, I feel like I've got a library still of stuff to talk about, and so my hesitancy was always I don't have time for it. I was in the camp of I'm too busy to post regularly or to create content, and that was a lame excuse, which you've disabused me of on multiple times. But then I still hadn't done it, and so I was kind of like, we have this tool. I've got tons of content, right? That's either been for training or speaking at events. Why don't I just start clipping out of that, dropping it into ChatGPT, having it giving me, telling it I want a social media post under 1,000 words, and 30 seconds later or 10 seconds later, it's like, here you go. Then it's like, well, now what's my excuse?
They've been good. They're getting a lot of traction as well. I mean, you just started. It's a long game, but they seem to be getting a lot of traction.